Good people, sanibonani. Umagebalo. Today we are doing this video where we're doing some revision from the grade 10 paper. So this paper that we're doing is a 2019 paper 2. So yeah, let's get into it. So question 5, the sketch below are the graphs of cos and the graph of sine. So this is 2 cos and we have sine x minus 1. So I've highlighted the graph. So the blue one here, which is my f at x, is a cos graph, and my g at x, which is a sine graph, is going to be the green one. Now, question 1 is saying, 5.1.1 is saying, what is the period of f? Now, our graph f is the graph of cos. Now, we know that the period of a cos graph is what? Is 360. That one doesn't change. Now, what is the range of the graph of OJ? Remember now, the range, it's where our y values exist. So this is my g. So if this is my G, now this is going to be my turning point. That's where my graph is going to turn. And also my graph of G turns here. So now my range, I can see that my Y here is 0. And my Y at this point, I hope you can see the Y at this point here for G is what? Is -2. So your graph exists from 0. Okay, change that one. So exist from 0 here until -2 here. So my range now, I can write it and say it's from uh, is from, okay, from -2, because you can start from the lowest number to the bigger one. So it's -2 less than or equals to x, and then less than or is equals to 0. Or you can say x is an element of a square bracket. The square bracket tells you that we are including these values of 0 and -2. So we're going to say from -2 bracket into or comma into 0. And then also both of these answers are correct. It's either you write one of them, both of them, they're going to give you an answer. Now, 5.1.3, they're saying number of solutions. Now, write down the number of solutions if these two is applicable. Now, if my f at x is equals to my g at x. Now, they are not asking you to calculate. They're asking you how many solutions you can find here. So if we can go into our graph and see where do we find this, where y is equals to another y, meaning f at x is equals to our g at x. This is a point of intersection. I hope everyone knows that one. So this is where I get my point of intersection. And also, this is where I get my point of intersection. So how many solutions are there? Answer how many solutions? We have 2 solutions because we have 2 point of intersection. Now, going to 5.2, for which values of x in the interval of 0 to 270 is f at x times g at x is greater than 0, greater or equals to 0. First thing, in order, because if this needs to be greater than 0, this thing needs to be positive. So the sum or the product of these two needs to be positive. So how can this sum or this product of these two becomes greater than 0? First thing, it's either this graph here, it's positive and then times this graph and then becomes another positive. So it's positive times positive is going to be greater than 0. Or my graph, it's negative and also times another negative. So these two graphs are negative, and then if you times them, they're going to be greater than 0 because positive times positive gives you, my negative times negative give you positive. So these two graphs, either they are both positive at the same time or both negative at the same time. So now where do we find that? I hope you can see now, if from here going at the top and also from here at the same time, this is positive because it's on the top of the x-axis. This one is below the x-axis point, it's negative. So from this and this, these two doesn't apply. Now coming to this, now from this point going down and also from this point going down here, so this graph is negative and also this graph is negative. So negative and negative, so this thing is applicable that we are looking for here. So going down here, because both of them, they are below the x-axis, so both of them, they are negative. So from this negative, or from this 90 going down, because this is the x that we're looking for, going down, so going down here, going down, both of them, they're negative. Ending from here, this one continue to be negative, and also this one is still negative. As much as it's going up, but still negative because it's still below the x-axis. So where does we see this thing? Is from 90. And where does it end? It ends here at 270. So from here, we can say your x value is greater or equals to, and greater and equals to. So this is where you can write the answer of 5.2. Or you can say x is an element of a square bracket where you say 90 and 270. Both of these answers are correct. It's up to you which one do you write. Now, 5.3. Now, in 5.3, they are saying the graph H is obtained by reflecting G about the x-axis. Now, it's very important to understand that if you reflect about the x-axis, the y is changing. So, first thing, this is the graph that they are talking about, the graph of, because they are reflecting the graph of G. This is my graph of G. So, the G of x sine x minus 1. So they're telling us to get an h, we must reflect into the x-axis. How do you reflect? We times the whole function by what? By a negative. So it's going to be negative into sine x minus 1 into, now it's going to be negative sine x and then plus 1. So how do we grow this graph? Remember, I just told you, reflecting about the x-axis, the y, also only y that changes. So this y is going to reflect about this x-axis. So this y now is going to become, comes here. And then now this is going to remain here, because this has to come down like this, and then every point from here goes to the top. So this point comes also to the top, and also this point comes into the top. So my function, if I can just draw it roughly, is going to be more or less like this. Zoop here, and then this is going to be now my turning point, and then it's gonna come to the top, remember my turning point is somewhere at 2 there, but this is just roughly, is not the exact point, but I'm just doing this to answer the question that we're supposed to answer here. They're saying now write down the coordinate of the minimum of the turning point. So now I hope you can see that the minimum of the turning point didn't change. So what is the minimum of this turning point is going to be, now my turning point is going to be 90 maps to what? Maps to 0. It didn't change even if you did reflect, but this one didn't change. I hope we understood everything based on this video. Thank you so much for watching. Makebalo.